Well, I think the problem in Britain has got much worse, and it got worse during the Blair government because he put in lots of legislation like the Human Rights Act, like the Equality Act, that ended up tying politicians' hands. The problem is that in Britain, the bureaucrats' power has grown over time. So more power that used to rest in the hands of MPs now lies in the hands of the Bank of England. It just takes time to get the legislation through, and it takes politicians with courage. And there has been a massive courage deficit on the Conservative side.
In the words of the great British statesman Winston Churchill, politics is almost as exciting as war and quite as dangerous. Never has this quote been more relevant than in the wake of Liz Truss's explosive allegations against Keir Starmer. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. As we unpack this political bombshell, we'll see just how dangerous the world of British politics can be. From secret affairs to financial controversies, this story has all the elements of a political thriller, except it's happening in real time, with real consequences for our nation.
Starmer government already seems to have hit a few problems. Those cuts to the winter heating payments, plenty of tension on the street.
No, and he got in with a very low proportion of the vote. He got in by default because people were unhappy with the Conservatives. They voted Labour. They didn't particularly like him. He's been accepting more freebies than any other MP in Parliament. But meanwhile, because of their disastrous economic policies, they are cutting payments to old people.
Keir Starmer's political journey reads like a classic tale of rise and fall. Once hailed as a beacon of integrity in British politics, Starmer's reputation now hangs by a thread. The former director of public prosecutions and respected lawyer seemed to embody the qualities many Brits longed for in their leaders: principled, accountable, and refreshingly transparent. His ascent to Labour leadership was marked by promises of a new era, free from the scandals that had plagued his predecessors. But as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Starmer's carefully cultivated image has taken a beating in recent months.
Just on that point about energy, I want to ask you about their big push on net zero. What do you make of the fact that the West is basically, we're deindustrialising ourselves?
While India and China are building more coal-fired power stations, getting more oil and gas, we in Britain have ended up closing down our oil and gas. This is what's happening under this Labour government. The problem is we have a Labour Party now in government who are saying that climate change is more of a threat to the future of the world than China. Now, that simply isn't true.
Critics point to a growing list of controversies that seem at odds with his initial promises. Perhaps most damaging are accusations of hypocrisy surrounding high-value gifts and hospitality. These allegations strike at the heart of Starmer's pledge to restore trust in politics, leaving many voters feeling disillusioned. It's not just about gifts, though. Starmer's leadership style has come under fire from within his own party. Some Labour members describe him as overly cautious, lacking the charisma needed to inspire a nation. This perceived weakness has translated into declining poll numbers, with the opposition failing to capitalize on the Conservative government's missteps. Maintaining political integrity is a tightrope walk at the best of times. For Starmer, it's become a Herculean task. Every decision, every statement is scrutinized through the lens of his past promises. The pressure is relentless, and cracks are beginning to show. But nothing could have prepared Starmer for the bombshell Liz Truss was about to drop. In a jaw-dropping moment of live television, the former Prime Minister launched a scathing attack on the Labour leader. Truss didn't mince words, labelling Starmer the most dangerous man in Britain. The implications were clear. Truss believes Starmer's leadership poses a significant threat to the country's future. And just when viewers thought it couldn't get any more explosive, Truss hinted at something even more damaging. rumors of a secret affair began swirling, threatening to shatter what remains of Starmer's carefully constructed public image. As the dust settles on Truss's allegations, one question looms large. What will be the lasting impact on Starmer's political career? The court of public opinion is now in session, and the verdict could reshape the landscape of British politics for years to come. While the dust may be settling on Truss's explosive allegations, the tremors are still being felt across Britain. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that the real power in this unfolding drama lies not with Truss or Starmer, but with an entirely different group? The media's role in this political soap opera might surprise you. Trust in politicians has plummeted to an all-time low of just 12%. This shocking statistic sets the stage for a public reaction that's as divided as it is intense. Starmer's supporters have rallied around him, denouncing Truss's claims as a desperate attempt to remain relevant after her brief and tumultuous stint as Prime Minister. They point to Starmer's track record as a prosecutor and his reputation for integrity, questioning Truss's motives and credibility. On the other side, Starmer's critics see Truss's allegations as confirmation of their suspicions. They argue that Starmer's carefully crafted image of transparency and accountability has been nothing more than a facade. Social media is ablaze with speculation, memes, and heated debates, turning this political scandal into a national obsession. The media, sensing a story that could reshape British politics, has pounced. Tabloids are having a field day, their front pages plastered with salacious headlines and grainy photos purporting to show evidence of Starmer's alleged indiscretions. Broadsheets and respected broadcasters are taking a more measured approach, fact-checking Truss's claims and exploring the potential ramifications for Labour and the broader political landscape. This media frenzy raises important questions about the state of political discourse in the UK. In an era of instant information and social media echo chambers, how can voters separate fact from fiction? The line between legitimate scrutiny and character assassination has never been blurrier, and the consequences for democracy could be profound. As for Starmer, the potential fallout from these allegations is enormous. If even a fraction of Truss's claims prove true, his political career could be over. The Labour Party, already struggling to present a united front, might find itself embroiled in yet another leadership crisis. The timing couldn't be worse, with a general election looming on the horizon. But here's the million-pound question. Is there any actual evidence to support Truss's bombshell claims of a secret affair? So far, concrete proof has been elusive. Truss herself has framed her allegations as a form of whistleblowing, claiming she's acting in the public interest, but without solid evidence, her accusations risk being dismissed as political mudslinging. As this drama unfolds, one thing is clear: British politics is at a crossroads. The public's growing disillusionment with traditional political figures is palpable, and the demand for authentic, transparent leadership has never been higher. Whether Starmer can weather this storm or not, the repercussions of this scandal will be felt for years to come, potentially reshaping the very nature of political accountability in the UK. As we've seen, the nature of political accountability is evolving rapidly in our age of instant information. The Truss-Starmer saga highlights how quickly allegations can spread and shape public opinion, often before the full facts emerge. This new reality poses significant challenges for politicians and voters alike. Trust in British politics seems to be at a crossroads. With only 12% of the public expressing faith in their leaders, one has to wonder, can this trust be rebuilt, or are we witnessing the twilight of traditional political structures? The answer may lie in how we, as citizens, engage with political narratives. It's crucial that we approach these stories with a critical eye. We must question not only the politicians' actions, but also our own biases and the media's role in shaping our perceptions. By doing so, we can help foster a more accountable and transparent political landscape for future generations.